Hello, I'm Jensen.
And I'm Mario.
Today we're going to talk about the U.S. and Iran conflict.
Some key points in the standoff: we're using the Strait of Hormuz as leverage. Iran restricted traffic through the strait, and the U.S. uses the blockade to squeeze Iran's economy. Some ships users were that Iran has captured multiple vessels attempting to pass through the strait. Some political instability is that high U.S. officials have stepped down amid conflict. The conflict caused thousands of deaths and major disruptions.
Today we're conducting an interview with Mr. Torres.
Hello, my name is Mr. Torres. I am one of the AP history teachers here, and I have my degree in history and museum science.
One of my first question for you is, what's your opinion about this conflict?
So, the whole conflict with Iran and the United States is something that has been decades in the making and is a lot more complicated than many people actually realize.
What do you think this matters?
So I think this matters because people need to also realize that, they need to be more well informed about the situation, how this all began, especially historically speaking. That way they can make more educated opinions and perspectives on the situation.
What impact could this conflict have on the world?
So, likely one of the biggest impacts this could have on the world economy is it could lead to either a lot of very low price, very high prices when it comes to oil, since there is a large amount of oil reserves in this region of the world, and it could even affect the countries around it by inadvertently bringing them into this conflict and escalating it into something larger.
My last question for you is, if you were the president, what would change about this conflict?
Probably the thing I would probably change, in my own personal opinion, about this conflict is try to exhaust every possible diplomatic and peaceful solution in order to just try and end this issue as peacefully as possible and with as minimal loss of life as humanly possible.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr.
You're very welcome.
The U.S. has imposed a naval blockade on Iran to pressure it economically, while Iran caused a ceasefire violation and has seized ships in response. Tensions escalated after U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran in February 26, 2026, which killed top leaders, leading to Iran launching missile attacks.
Now let's go to some news that's been emerging over the last few minutes, because we've been getting reports, or there have been reports on Iranian state media of explosions in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran describing it as an exchange of fire between Iranian armed forces and what it's called the enemy. Let's go straight to our correspondent Caroline Davis, who's in Dubai. What more are you hearing, Caroline?
Well, just in the last few minutes, Jane, we've had an official response from the Iranian side, from Qatar and Abia. They have said that the US, in violation, they say, of the ceasefire, targeted an Iranian oil tanker and that was traveling in Iranian coastal waters. And in response, they said that they launched retaliatory action against American military vessels in the Strait of Hormuz, which, you say, we'd previously heard some of these reports coming from Iranian state media. We have yet to have any official response from the US at the moment. Previously, President Trump had said that any US vessel that could be targeted will be meant that Iran would be blown off the face of the planet. But from the US side, we've also heard reports from US media. Fox News had said that, yes, that the US had also launched some attacks on a couple of locations inside Iran as well, but that they said, this unnamed US official, that this was not the end of the ceasefire nor the beginning again of the conflict.
All right, Caroline, thank you. Let's go to Washington as well. Let's talk to Tom Bateman. Is the administration saying anything at this stage, Tom?
Nothing officially at all, Jane, at the moment, and we've tried to get word from both the Pentagon and the White House, but silence from them, although I think unofficially there is a sense from the administration that, as you've been hearing, they are trying to suggest that this is something limited and contained from their perspective. Some US media quoting an unnamed US official saying that this is a US strike both in Bandar Abbas and Keshem Port, but that this is not an end to the ceasefire. This is not a resumption of the war. That would be something very important to Mr. Trump in terms of what he's been saying over the last few days, that they believe that their actions in the Strait of Hormuz and also those of the Iranians in the last few days do not amount to breaching a threshold that means the ceasefire is over. That's particularly important at the moment because some Gulf Arab countries have been quite angry that they came under attack by the Iranians when Mr. Trump tried to reopen the strait by force. That has put pressure on the White House. This might in part be to try and deter any further action from the Iranians.